What's up, you guys? It's another day, another video with Jaeger-Moto, except we're not on the Jaeger-Moto. We're not on the R1 today. We're actually riding my boys, Jimmy, my roommates, 2012 S1000. The reason being is if you watched the prior video, I'm leaking, bro. Fuck. Then you obviously know that something went down with the R1, and sadly she's not here right now. So yeah, we're gonna take this bike out for a spin real quick. Kind of talk about what happened with the R1 later on, and then also use this video as a, as a review for the S1000. It's my first time really riding the S1000 further than just the parking lot. So yeah, we're gonna have a little bit of fun. Obviously nothing too crazy, it's not my bike. I'm just gonna enjoy it and kind of just see how it rides, because I've never really ridden an S1000 like that. But yeah, we're gonna get more in depth about the R1, and then just talk about what's been going on in life, obviously, because I haven't posted in a little bit. It seems like every time I want to get consistent, something happens. But yeah, let's get on the bike and see what's up with it. My goodness, it's so freaking hot out here, dude. But I forgot how good it felt to be back on two wheels. It's been way too long. Ever since that last video, I haven't been able to ride at all, period. Mainly because after that, I literally went to Kansas, and then I thought the bike would get fixed by then, and it didn't, and now I'm here riding my roommate's bike because my bike is down. What a turn of events. But I will say, it does feel really good to be back on two wheels. This bike is actually really nice. And yeah, we're about to go get some matcha. You already know how it goes, big dog. It's so humid out here in Georgia, dude. Like, oh my god, why is it so hot all the time? Wow, getting this thing to neutral is a pain in the butt cheeks. She sounds disgusting too, by the way. I love the way she sounds. Jimmy doesn't like the exhaust on her, which, I mean, granted, it's an old exhaust, but it's old slip-on, mind you. But I don't know, she sounds nice. You just gotta, she definitely needs a tune and ECU flash. She doesn't have any of that yet. So at least I got that step done on the R1. I definitely need to tune the R1 though eventually. And she's lower to the ground than the R1 is, because the R1 I have to, like, my legs are like fully extended. My knees are bent on this. It kind of feels like I'm sitting on our old Gixxers, but like obviously it's a 1000. So yeah, but this bike is insane. I like it a lot, actually. The aesthetics of it looks insane too. The gray looks nasty. Oh man, I honestly just needed to ride because I haven't ridden since the R1 went down, and thankfully the R1 isn't down because of a like engine problem or anything. It's down because of me. Like, it's rider error. I should have known better than to do what I did, but we'll get more into that like as the ride goes on. Kind of just trying to get out of here, out of good old Hinesville. The bike's getting hot too. I can feel it boiling my freaking legs. This is exactly what Jimmy was talking about when he first rode it. That was the slowest turn of the century. Holy moly. But yeah, since the R1's been down, I've been kind of busy anyways, thankfully, and the weather hasn't really held up until like kind of today, so it's kind of been a blessing that it happened when it did, because I wasn't able to ride it anyways. But man, does it suck knowing that my bike is literally 3 hours away. Shout out to Ramsey, who's watching this probably. He hooked me up with the mechanic that he took his R1 to. The R1 that I own, I bought it from him. He took that R1 to the same mechanic, and that mechanic's super chill, super easy to work with. So, W's in the chat for Ramsey, because if it wasn't for him, I would be kind of lost in the sauce, to be honest. Seeing as, honestly, in Georgia where I'm at, it's like a dead zone for sport bike mechanics. Like, there's maybe one in Savannah, but other than that, there's nothing around here. It's all like cruiser mechanics and all that stuff, like Harley mechanics and Indian mechanics. But sport bike mechanics, I haven't really found a good consistent one here. And the Yamaha dealership that's up north is trash, bro. The last time that I took my R6 there, they said that they would look at it within a day. They hadn't even looked at it, and it had been 2 weeks in the shop. I'm like, nah, give me my bike back, bro. There's no way. All I'm asking is for a diagnostic, and it does not take 2 weeks to just look at a bike and be like, hey, this is the problem. It doesn't. But anyways, that's besides the point. At least the brakes on this bike are a lot better than his Gixxers were, because oh my god, those things were sketchy. I rode on that Gixxer one time in my life, and let me tell you, the one time that I rode on it was probably the first time I ever was actually scared of the brakes not working. I should have probably went on a ride earlier in the day, because holy crap, it's hot. It's funny because right now I'm running under the assumption that Jimmy filled this bike up last time he rode it, and I quite frankly don't know if he did. But obviously I'm gonna do the cool roommate thing and fill it up for him before I give it back. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie, it feels kind of weird how thin the clip-ons are. Like my fingers touch like very easily across the board. I never thought that they would be that skinny. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, days like this make me wish that I had like a sport car that I could drive and still have fun. I don't know. Especially not having an R1. What do y'all think? Should I get a Type R? Or should I get a different sport car later on in the future? My plan, as of right now, is to pay off my truck, right? Hear me out, hear me out. Pay off my truck, and then I'm gonna obviously have a bike. I'm never getting rid of my motorcycle unless I get like an upgraded version of the R1, and then get a sport car like a Type R, a 350 F Sport, what else, Acura TLX, something like that. You know what I'm saying? But what do y'all think? Honestly, I don't know what car I would go for. My heart right now is saying the Type R. I just love the way it looks, honestly. But who knows? Probably a different car will come around and I'll change my mind, and then I'll just go for that one. I don't know. So we have finally made it to the highway, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna make this little part a little pure sound video, because why not? Enjoy the S1000 a little bit, and then yeah, get back to it. Get back to our regular schedule programming. By the way, it's insane outside how hot it is. It's only like 10 o'clock, and it's like 10:30, and it's insane, bro. Oh my god, it's hot! Yeah, that shit sounds so good. So good. I feel like a douche when I do that, but realistically, it's not my bike. I can barely ever hear it do that, like, while sitting on it, so I had to enjoy while I could, you know what I'm saying? I feel bad for the guy under the bridge, but my bad, dude. My bad. The tism hit me a little bit. The tism. It's crazy how I'm riding in the open air right now, and I'm still sweating, because the air isn't doing anything for me right now. So bad. So bad. But yeah. Turn up the tunes a little bit. Oh my god, this bike is so smooth, bro. What the hell? Oh, I miss it so much, bro. Oh, Jimmy, I love you so much. Thank you for letting me ride this bike. Oh my god, that bike is so nice. It's so smooth, bro. The power delivery is right there. Right on the spot, on the money. Oh. For a bike that's 14 years old, this bike is still kicking ass, dude. Oh my god, I love this bike. But I mean, granted, I want a newer Gen S1000 if I ever got rid of the R1. So to be fair, I kind of was already like hyped about this bike in the first place when he got it. But now it just kind of reaffirmed it. Like, if I ever get rid of the R1 and I want a different bike, I'm getting the newer Gen S1000, bro. This thing is kicking ass. Camera with a tow hitch? What the hell? God, I love this bike, bro. What the hell? I will say, right, I'm so used to like bikes that don't have that much technology. Like, this has a lot of technology for being a 2012, right? It has like traction control, all that stuff, wheelie control. But the R1 has so much, it can get overwhelming sometimes. But no, don't get it twisted. I love my bike. Nothing will ever top my R1. But this is a very close second. Like, this is teeter-tottering that line of like, yeah, this could have been a very, very close option for me if I would have seen this bike or found it before Jimmy. So yeah, I'm actually very happy with this bike right now. Like, I didn't even know I was going, damn. Alright, I need to chill. I'm also on a very big high right now, only because I haven't ridden for so long. And I actually feel good. I thought I was going to be hurting because like the weekend before I flew out to Kansas, I actually ended up spraining my ankle really bad. It still hurts sometimes to walk. Like, when I wake up, when I wake up, it's pretty stiff. So I'm actually very surprised that I'm like able to ride and be in this position without it hurting. And yeah, that's why I'm very happy, because all of it is like going pretty well. I'm riding for the first time in a long time. I'm enjoying a new bike, and on top of that, my ankle doesn't hurt. So we can call this a win-win for now. I will say it's not a win-win when I gotta pay to fix the R1 though. That is crazy to me, but it's a live and learn mistake, honestly. So we'll get more into it in a little bit, but yeah, the R1's gonna be down. Like, it's getting fixed right now, so it'll be back maybe in like a month, hopefully, or sooner actually, as long as they get all the parts in. So I usually take this road now to go to Savannah, mainly because it's a little bit more empty. The road's a little bit more windy and like a little bit more interactive, rather than just taking a straight shot to the highway. And then the highway turns into a 60-mile-an-hour zone, which makes no sense for it being a highway. So I'd rather just go this way. And even though the speed limit is 60, it's like a little bit more curvy, a little bit more interactive, I guess you could call it. So I have a little bit more fun than just going in a straight line 60 miles an hour. Because I'm also not going crazy on this bike because it's not mine. So oh. I love this freaking microphone, dude. Well, guys, we made it. It's hot. And we're going to go get some matcha. And I'm going to go work on a little project that I have going on for Jimmy. Something that me and him been wanting to do and get serious about. So I'm going to start it, get some matcha, and then I'll be right back in the video. And I'll explain everything that happened with the R1 back in this exact same spot that we're in now. But yeah, hope you guys are enjoying so far, especially with the S1000. What's up, ladies and gents? So we're back on the bike. We're about to leave and go home because I want to shower, watch a movie, relax, spend some time with Jimmy. He's back. Very excited, very excited. But now I get to get into more in-depth conversation about what happened with the R1, because honestly, it's kind of mind-boggling to me that happened. And it's, like I said earlier in the video, it's my fault. Nobody else to blame but me. But it happened nonetheless, and now I gotta deal with it, so deal with it we shall. So basically, to explain what happened, if you guys watched the prior video, you guys noticed that as soon as I got to the cafe, I literally noticed that there was some oil like on the bottom, on the top of my shoe, which I honestly didn't think much of it. I thought it was kind of just like, you know, stuff from the road just riding around. But then I looked closer and it was red, and there's only one oil that I know is red anywhere near me, and it's in my bike, you know. So that was like a dead giveaway that something was wrong. Well, I looked, and sure enough, my bike was leaking oil from both sides of the bike. Now, to preface this, right, the bike is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. The only thing that's wrong with it is that I decided to put on some aftermarket Puig case covers on both sides of the bike. Now, one thing I didn't know, wow, I just stalled like a hoe. So basically what happened was when I put those case covers on, they replaced the OEM bolts that go on the R1, which weren't seating correctly. And because they weren't seating correctly, they obviously weren't putting enough like pressure between the gasket and the case, so it obviously caused it to leak. So I rode it all the way home, and that's where the video ended. So I rode it all the way home, and when I got home, I started taking off all the covers, because obviously if the bolts aren't doing its job, then I'm gonna take the covers off so I can still ride my bike until I figure it out. Well, knowing my mind how Derek works, I thought, you know, I spent $200 on these cases, they have to work, you know, they're meant for the R1. So on the clutch side of the bike, I left that case cover on, and I tried to tighten the bolt a little bit more. Mind you, the specs, the torque specs on those bolts are like 7 foot-pounds, so it's literally like nothing. It's almost like more than, like your hand can do more than that. So I already knew I didn't have to torque it down a lot. Well, I went and I turned it just a little bit, and the bolt snapped inside the engine case of my motorcycle, and it was bad news from there. The bolt is not an OEM bolt, so it wasn't an aluminum R1 bolt, which would be a lot easier to take out if it snapped in there. No, it was a steel bolt. And so with that being said, the problem started to arise, because obviously I can't ride the bike if it has a bolt stuck in the engine case and it's not providing that tight seal for the crankcase, basically for the alternator case. And so I started finding different ways of trying to fix that bike, and my roommate was gone in NTC. He was in training, mind you, so he couldn't help out. So I started trying to find different ways to find people to help me out, and I found 2 people that were able to help me out. One of them, who's so clutch, because he came in during lunch breaks and he came in after work to help me out. So shout out to you, Lewis. I don't know if you'll watch this video ever, but you're the man for helping me out. I still owe you Panda Express. But anyways, after a week consistently of trying to fix that bike and get the bolt out, no luck. If anything, I think we made it worse, because it got to a point where we couldn't even tell the difference between the walls of the engine case and the bolt. So at that point I was pretty much cooked, you know. And after that, one of my boys came out and he was like, hey man, I'll try it. I got some diamond tip like drill bits that might be able to do the job. And let me back up a little bit in this story. When he came in out of nowhere, it was because during the week we finally got some progress, and we were able to dig, like we were able to like put a hole inside the bolt and get an extractor bit in there. And when we got the extractor bit in there, we tried to turn it to start getting the bolt out, and the extractor bit snapped inside of the bolt, making it 10 times harder to get the bolt out, because now the bolt is reinforced with a carbon extractor bit. And at that point, it was kind of like a done deal for the R1 at that point. But my boy Pete, shout out to you, Pete, love you, Pete. He came out, he tried his best, but we ended up taking a chunk out of the engine case. And at that point, him and I looked at each other and we came to that conclusion that, yeah, this is pretty much done and over with. There's nothing we can do. And so my boy Ramsey, which I mentioned earlier in the video, he's the one that sold me the R1. I called him and I asked him what I could do. And long story short, he put me on to his mechanic, which I took the bike to, which is all the way in Valdosta, Georgia. Moto Lab, shout out to them for trying. Basically, they had the bike while I was in Kansas and stuff like that, and they called me while I was on my trip just to tell me the bad news, which is there's nothing that can be done. The engine case is done. I have to get a new one. Mind you, the engine case alone from Yamaha, if I were to get it brand new, is about $2,300. That's without the O-rings, the gaskets, that's without the labor, and yeah, that's pretty much just the bare bones engine case without even putting it on the bike. So just needless to say, the bike is getting a full engine rebuild at this point because of one stinking bolt and one simple mistake. So to my new riders out there that might be watching this video, learn from me, don't be like me. And if a bolt doesn't fit, don't try to make it fit. If it does fit, then cool, you got lucky. But if it doesn't, don't even try. Like, not even worth your money, not even worth your time. And I should have known better, and I should have let it go, but I didn't, and now I'm in this position. But the R1 is getting worked on. The R1 will be back, and yeah, we learn from our mistakes and we move on. It's not a deal breaker, it's not a heartbreaker, it's not anything. I'll be fine. So yeah, that was pretty much it. It sucks to think about the fact that, like, I could have literally been on the R1 right now if I would have just let the bolt go and like took it out and then put all the old stuff back. But it is what it is. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing the S1000 on the channel for the first time ever. It's actually really fun to ride this thing, so I'm going to enjoy it a little bit more on the way back. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I thank you guys for the support. I never thought I'd be at 470 subscribers, which is crazy. It's not even that much, but to me it is, because I honestly didn't think I was ever going to go over 100, to be honest. But I appreciate the ones that are watching for the support. I appreciate y'all for everything. And if you have any questions, I'm always there to answer. A lot of y'all have commented, and I answer like within 10 seconds of you commenting, because it means a lot to hear what you guys have to say. And so yeah, I hope you guys have a great day. Ride smart, be safe, don't do anything I wouldn't do, especially tighten bolts that shouldn't be tightened. And I'll see you guys on the next episode of Jägermoto. Yeah!